channel. I'm Mahesh, and in today's video we are going to explore a very common challenge in Salesforce, that is performing mass data operations while bypassing validations and automations. Whether you need to onboard new business units, fix bugs, or make changes to your data model, dealing with the impact of these processes can be time consuming and disruptive. In this video, we'll discuss a couple of approaches to tackle this issue effectively. The first option involves deactivating the validations and automations, performing the bulk data operations, and then reactivating them back. However, this approach often requires downtime and manual effort, making it less than ideal for frequent mass DML operations or when numerous validations and automations are involved. That brings us to the second option, which utilizes a powerful feature in Salesforce called custom setting of hierarchical type. By leveraging this feature, we can create a mechanism that diverts heavy vehicles, mass DML operations, to an alternative route, bypassing the usual validations and automations. The beauty of this solution is that you can define the custom setting at the org level and then override it at the profile or user level, granting granular control over the bypass. In this video, we'll dive deeper into the concept of custom setting and demonstrate how to implement them effectively for bypassing validations and automations during mass DML operations. We'll explore the step-by-step processes, discuss best practices, and showcase real-world examples to solidify your understanding. So if you're tired of dealing with the slowdown and undesired processing caused by validations and automations during bulk data operations in Salesforce, you have come to the right place. Stay tuned as we unravel the power of custom setting and help you streamline your mass DML processes. Let's get started. All right, so let's open our developer open our developer org, and then actually first of all the first step will be actually creating a validation rule on case object, and then after once we create the validation rule, we'll first test it out whether that validation rule works or not. Once that is done, we will be creating the custom setting, the hierarchical type, wherein we will actually create two fields. I will let you know at that point of time. One is basically bypass validation, and one is basically bypass the automation. So once we have created the custom setting also, then we'll include that custom setting logic into the validation rule formula, so that once we just activate or deactivate on the custom setting level, that will then actually be effective in the validation rule formula also. So let's go ahead and create a validation rule on the case object. So I'll go to object manager, look for case. Let me see if I have any validation rules currently. So there are currently no validation rules as of now. I'll open the case list view also on the new tab. Alright, so if I create a new case, and let's say if I create a validation rule on priority field, like if the priority is actually none of these three values, then it should throw an error that you should actually enter a priority. All right, let me go ahead and create a new validation rule for that. Let's say here priority is mandatory. All right, priority is mandatory. What we'll do is we'll see, we will insert the field priority. Okay, we'll insert that field and see, we'll having the text type equal to, that is blank. All right, we'll check the syntax. There is no errors found. Please enter priority, and then save it. Let's see and test it. What I'll do is I'll create a new and see priority as none and say case origin, something like that. Let me enter some description, test subject. All right, I'll have the same description here as well, and then I'll just click on save. Let's see. Please enter the priority, it says, because now we have that validation rule. I'll go ahead and select on priority also and then see if it works. So yeah, now the case is created. Now what we'll do is we'll create a custom setting. I'll go to setup, then I'll search for custom setting here, right? Now we will create one new custom setting. All right, we'll label it as bypass setting. All right, and then let's say we are on the case object. This will be public. Let's save it. Okay, we have saved that. Now we will create two custom fields here, and that would be of type checkbox. Next, let the label be bypass validation. All right, for now it is unchecked. I'll go click next and then save it. All right, so we have created the bypass validation field. Let's create a new field, one more field. Let's name this as bypass automation. All right, left it unchecked and then save it. And then what we'll do is we'll click on this manage button. So you can actually set it up at the default organization level, or you can set it up at the user or profile level. I'll click on new. I'll select a user. Let's say it's me only. Okay, I'll search for my name, and then I will say that is I want to bypass validation. I will click on save. Now this custom setting is effective only for me. All right, I've checked this checkbox also, that is bypass validation. Now we will include this field into our validation rule once and for all. So I'll just click on edit on that validation rule. So what we can do is I have this formula here. So what we can do is before the text, before we check the priority, I will include that formula. So what we are doing is from the setup, we are getting that bypass setting, custom setting. All right, we are getting this bypass setting, custom setting, and then we are actually checking the field value, that is bypass automation, and this will be an AND condition, as you know, like if this is true and if this is true. All right, but we have this not condition here. So if this is true, it will make this condition as false. So false and true will make will not execute this error condition, and it will not throw an error. Oh, validation error. I'll check the syntax and see if this is correct. Okay, does not exist. Check the spelling. I'll check if the bypass setting, custom setting is what is the name of that bypass custom setting. Bypass validation. So from this insert field, I'll select this bypass validation field, and then I'll just delete this one. I don't need this. Okay, so there the not condition was not present. I'll just add that not condition here and then check the syntax again. Now I'll click on save. Okay, now if we try to create it now it should process that case, because now we have that validation rule working. All right, so this is how you can bypass validations. So just set it one of the record or one of the user record or one of the profile, and then say bypass validation or bypass automation. Okay, so the same thing you can do with bypass automation. Just make this as true, and when you are actually creating a process builder or so, you can add that condition wherein it will check this bypass automation field, and it will check that condition whether it's true or false, and accordingly you can execute that particular logic or not according to your need. So this is how you can straightforwardly just manipulating this custom setting, you can actually bypass those validations and automations, and you can mass upload your data into your Salesforce account. The other way that we discussed before, that you can manually go ahead and deactivate the validation rules and the automations, but it will take a lot of time, and also it can hold time from the business as well. So that is a cumbersome process, because as you grow in your organization, the validation rules and the automations logic becomes so much complex. At that point of time, it will become too cumbersome to make those changes very frequently. So this is one of the way you can prevent those time-consuming process, and then make it very straightforward and very easier for the whole organization. So thank you for watching this video, and in the next video we will be coming up with a new topic, and hope you are doing good and doing all well and fine. So thank you for watching the video. See you next time. Bye.